Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to the 4 to 5. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Tim Buckley and Chad Silver.
Nice to see you all on this Friday. I know you've been looking outside, wondering what's going on. Tim, kind of felt like fall today.
It did,
yeah, it's
it
really
did.
cool. Have you been out there?
I have been out there. It's a little nippy.
A little breezy. We have that chill in the air. Definitely something building for
Mm-hmm.
sure. And you can still enjoy the weather this afternoon and evening, but going into the weekend, I know we've talked about it plenty, haven't we? Rain on the way. In fact, if your friends and neighbors have already driven down to the coast, they're seeing rain already. Take a look. It's kind of a soaker right now from the Crystal Coast down to Wilmington and into South Carolina as well. Those showers pretty light at the moment, but look at all that's building offshore. We call this a coastal low pressure area. Kind of think of it almost as a tropical system, but not as strong, not as windy. It's just like a nor'easter in the winter time, honestly. A lot of rain and a lot of cloud cover, and in this time, cool weather accompanying it as well. As we head into the weekend, the rain will begin for us coming up on your Saturday morning. I'm expecting the rain to begin tomorrow between around 9 a.m. and around noon, so that'll be the beginning of everything. Saturday afternoon and evening look very wet. So does Sunday morning, but after we get to Sunday afternoon, notice it's more scattered. We could call that intermittent, just on again, off again, but with breaks in the middle. As the rain is falling, you're also going to notice it's very windy. Wind gusts of around 25 to 30 miles per hour. Well, they'll be with us this weekend. In fact, it's already happening. We already have that wind around our area. I'm expecting rain totals to be between about 1 and 2 inches when you combine Saturday, Sunday, and Monday together. And this is how cool it's going to be. Temperatures only around the upper 50s. That's actually going to be so cool. It'll set some records for us for that May time frame. 58 Saturday, 61 on Sunday. We're on the upper 60s on Memorial Day. That would probably be the best day to get outside because you'll have the best chance anyway for a few hours of dry weather coming up on Monday. The weather will start to improve a little bit going into early next week. You can see it there. We're going to fix that graphic for you as well. But again, warming up not until the weekend is over. As you go throughout the weekend, don't forget to take your News 2 app with you. We're going to be tracking the storms throughout the weekend, the showers, the cold weather, the wind. It's your best source of accurate forecast information made by us here on the News 2 Weather Team.
A local school district is vowing to press charges against students who took a senior prank way too far. Look at the damage inside Williams High School in Burlington. Alamance Burlington School says they dumped concrete into the toilets and urinals.
But that isn't all the students reportedly did. Leaders say they sprayed graffiti throughout the building and sidewalk, totaling $4,000 in damage.
The district also reported vandalism at Western, Eastern, Southern, Cummings, and Graham High Schools. A mom in the district told us students at other schools pulled pranks, but they didn't go this far.
It's frustrating. However, what the frustrating part is these are young kids. They think it's fun. They think it's funny. We get it. But somebody probably should sit down and talk to these kids and say there are consequences to your action. Are you planning on going to college? Are you really going to miss walking on graduation? You're going to miss playing out on sports? Like, are you going to have a charge on your record? Like, this can affect your college years or the rest of you forever.
Burlington police say the district plans to press misdemeanor charges against students involved.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand what what a student and a parent are going through because I don't have a child. But I mean, boy, it's bad.
I know my parents would be very disappointed because this just went way too far, and it is criminal action. I mean, I'm shocked what would drive the students to do this. I know when I was in school, you placed fake mice throughout the school, or everybody paid for their lunch in pennies, not destroying property. So they took it too far.
There's definitely a line somewhere, and you could probably debate where it is. There's a line between prank and really, criminal mischief.
Yeah.
Right? And this would be, I think, the criminal kind. And you could also talk about the money here, too. Schools, we report on it throughout the week. They're strapped for money. They're fighting to get funding. This money comes out of somewhere to fix all of that.
And it's a shame because, like we just heard from the mother, I mean, there were pranks at other schools, and now it's kind of ruining everything for
everyone.
everybody else.
Yeah,
right?
Did you all have senior pranks when you were in school?
think we like blew up balloons and stuffed them in a classroom
Yeah.
or something for our favorite teacher. This is like nothing. My mom is also a teacher. I
Yeah.
couldn't get away with any of
Yeah,
that. I
yeah,
tried,
yeah.
so let's not kid about that.
I mean, we brought a forklift to school and moved the picnic tables onto the building of the school. And so, like, it was funny. They just had to get the forklift and bring the picnic tables down. But I mean, yeah, it wasn't like it caused any damage.
Yeah, ours too. Mine was pretty lame. We all did like a sit-in and sat in the locker bay and missed homeroom. But there was a 4-car accident right outside the school, so the principal said, "We have more things to worry about. Please go back to class." But no one got hurt.
Right.
There was no damage, you know.
Yikes. Yeah, this is bad stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And we will keep you posted on how this all transpires. All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. The end of an era is quickly approaching. The last Sears in the state, the one at Friendly Center in Greensboro, is closing for good on Sunday. As for what's next, property owners say they're working on a redevelopment plan to bring new life to the building.
Closeout sales are also underway at Bed Bath & Beyond. You'll remember the company filed for bankruptcy last month. It stopped accepting returns and exchanges this week. Markdowns are currently set to 50%. There's no word on when the Greensboro location closes for good.
There's a recall this afternoon for a child car seat. The latch of the Baby Trend 3-in-1 booster seats can fray, impacting its ability to lock kids in. The company says it's mailing replacement parts and instructions free of charge, along with owner notification letters next month.
Memorial Day is the unofficial start to summer, and people, they are itching to travel. State Highway Patrol says 37 million drivers are hitting the roads this weekend. That's up 6% compared to last year. Deputies are taking extra steps to monitor the roads to prevent speeding. They're also teaming up with NC Wildlife to beef up water patrol and deter drunk boating. The campaign is underway now and ends next Sunday.
Experts say this weekend is expected to be the busiest weekend of Memorial Day travel since before the pandemic. AAA says more than 42 million people are expected to travel 50 miles or more from home, a 7% increase from last year.
The sights of a summer travel season taking off. Jammed freeways and packed airports that could be even busier today.
I'm excited that it feels good to travel again after a few years of staying home.
Annette Richmond got to the Atlanta airport more than 3 hours before her flight, taking no chances with her big Memorial Day European cruise, even adding 3 extra days on the front and end of the trip in case of any travel disruptions.
Delays, mix up with flights, anything with the cruise. Luckily, my travel insurance will help me cover that.
The nation's airlines have been working for a year to get ahead of last summer's staffing issues that snarled flights for millions.
I think it's improved compared to a year ago, but the real test of that will be going into the summer.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is planning new regulations requiring airlines to compensate flyers for some lengthy delays, but is facing criticism for continuing air traffic control problems.
Last summer, you were very hard on the airlines about their staffing issues. A year later, ATC is still having its own staffing issues. Why hasn't that gotten fixed?
Well, look, we're going to own anything that's under our control. We're talking about 5% of the issue, and as long as that's more than 0, then we're going to continue growing the air traffic control workforce.
Tim Laleyem is just trying to take whatever the summer rush brings in stride.
Excited for some of it, dreading some of it, yeah. Airport's never fun, but destination is.
The TSA expects today will be its busiest day at airport checkpoints across the country. AAA is expecting the peak of peak rush hour for people starting their trip to be between 3 and 6 p.m. in most cities across the country. And things are going to stay busy through Wednesday as this 3-day weekend is increasingly becoming a 6-day summer starter. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Chicago.
With so many people heading to airports this weekend, we got to thinking about the importance of travel etiquette. A recent study from Upgraded Points ranked the top 3 airline pet peeves. The #1 response, you guessed it, having someone kick the back of the seat during your flight. In second place is those folks who cut in line, followed by those who are rude to airline staff. I'm surprised this one didn't make the list. You know, when you land and you have all the people who stand up, where are you going? You know it's going to take us about 10 minutes before they even open the doors. You know, sit down. It just makes me anxious.
That bugs me too, and I don't know why, because I don't know if it hurts anything. It just annoys me.
Yeah, it's
and I'm
annoying.
not sure why.
Like, sit down.
See, the way that I think about it, I just think rookies. And then it makes me feel better.
Let me ask you this. Okay, is there an etiquette to talking to the person next to you or not?
I think you can kind of sense, because I've been in situations where
Some
there's a little
people
bit
can't.
of chit chat, but then sometimes
Lots of people can't.
when you pull out that book or that phone and they're looking down, that you should take the social cues of I'm not really trying to talk right now.
See, I would, if I would have my headphones on if someone's trying to talk to me, I would make it very apparent, like, yes, that I.
I've done that. I've done that before. Sometimes a very
Yeah.
early flight. I've worked the 11 the night
Yeah.
before,
Right.
and I've got the headphones on. And sometimes it's talking time, and
Yeah.
it's like, what? Sorry.
The worst is, when people are coughing and sneezes and they don't cover up and they're just, I can't stand that. So when I flew back from California a few weeks ago, there was someone doing that. Then he took his shoes off with no socks.
Uh-oh.
And I said, this is just,
Too much.
this is too much for me right now.
I know that
Got a
we.
little smell-o-vision there. That's not good.
I think
You're coughing,
I think a
your
lot of
feet
people
are-
are annoyed that we can't use our phone while in flight. But
Uh-huh.
if you think about if you could, everybody would be on their
Oh,
phone
everyone would be talking to
and those
people.
loud talkers would be right next to you.
Or
and the
they'd be on
laughers.
speakerphone. Because
I
when
mean,
you're just out and about, some people are on speakerphone or they play their music loudly.
You
'cause
definitely
they
need
think
to be
everyone wants to
respectful,
hear
especially
it.
if it's a nighttime flight. You have to be quiet conscious, I would say.
And they even turn all the lights off usually on nighttime flights too.
That's a good way to help. Be considerate.
Yeah.
I could go on for
Nice
days, but we're gonna go to
Next
break.
flight, stay in
We'll be
your
right back.
seats.
If you're headed to the beach this weekend, you're probably all packed up and ready to
Yep.
go. But where did you pack that sunscreen?
WFNY News 2's Megan Malaris verifies what happens if you leave it in the car too long.
As you pack the trunk to hit the pool or beach this summer, let's lather up the truth about your sunscreen. As we've previously verified, sunscreen has an expiration date, either printed on the label or 3 years after you purchased it. But that rule of thumb gets a bit greasy when you factor in sunscreen storage. Is it true it's unsafe to keep sunscreen in your car? Our sources are the Food and Drug Administration, Sutter Pacific Medical Foundation, and Trisha Calvo, the Deputy Health and Food Editor with Consumer Reports. The FDA categorizes sunscreen as a cosmetic. In its shelf life recommendations, the agency advises never leaving sunscreen in a hot car because heat can make the preservatives break down, causing bacteria and fungi to grow faster. Sutter Medical Foundation explained chemical sunscreens with oxybenzone and avobenzone can degrade when exposed to high temperature, and Calvo noted the elements can cause the contents to separate.
It just won't protect you as well. There's no guarantee that it's going to do the job that sunscreen is supposed to do, and you don't want to take that chance. Every amount of sun exposure that you get, it's cumulative over your lifetime. So you want to, minimize sun exposure to your skin as much as you possibly can.
Best rule of thumb, store sunscreen at room temperature. Consumer Reports regularly tests sunscreen and found no difference in performance for 3 years in sunscreen stored in a temperature-controlled lab. So what do you do when you need the sunscreen at the pool or the beach?
And it's always a good idea not to leave the sunscreen just lying out in the direct sun. You can cover it with a towel, you can put it under the umbrella, you could even put it in your cooler if you've got one. But there's no real reason to worry about just one day of exposure.
In conclusion, we verified yes, sunscreen is unsafe to use if stored in heat. Taking precautions can maximize its shelf life, protecting both your skin and wallet. Calvo emphasized before you apply any kind of sunscreen, shake it first to ensure all the active ingredients are well combined. With your Verify, I'm Megan Malaris.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're having a good, really, end of the work week and a start to that long holiday weekend. Here are the main points you need to know. And we can belabor the point here about how the weather is not so great, but let's get you informed about what it's going to do. Cloudy, chilly, windy, and wet. Those are the main words I'm going to use for the next couple of days. The worst of the rain, when it's coming down the heaviest and the steadiest, that should be midday Saturday when it begins through about midday Sunday. After that, it gets a little bit more scattered, which means there will be some breaks in the action. Rain total should be around 1 to 2 inches, and the wind, which you've already probably noticed in your backyard, has been gusting around 30 miles per hour. That's going to continue. Our system is just getting going. This is really impressive off the North and South Carolina beaches. You can see that swirling area. It's low pressure that will be moving inland by tomorrow. So right now we're dry. We'll stay that way for the rest of your Friday night. And the rain really won't begin until between around 10 a.m. and let's say lunchtime on Saturday. But by the afternoon, it will be raining and it'll be chilly. Temperatures are in the 50s. That's one of the coldest May days around Memorial Day that we've ever had. Heading into Sunday, the rain will still be there, but it gets on again, off again, a little bit more breaks in the action. Same thing for Monday. Let's give you a closer view futurecast. This is again tomorrow morning. Notice by 10 a.m., a lot of us are still dry, but that changes by the afternoon. That's 6 o'clock. This is around that late night Saturday time frame, early Sunday morning, and then by Sunday afternoon, as I said, there are some breaks that start to develop in the action. But have some indoor plans ready to go, especially for Saturday and Sunday. Notice how cool and chilly we are. Only in the 50s on Saturday, barely touching 60 degrees on Sunday. Monday, more breaks of sunshine amid the scattered showers. That should be a little bit more helpful to us. Looking at the rainfall forecast, 1 to 2 inches of rain are pretty likely across our area when you combine the next couple of days' rainfall. In fact, closer to the coast, they could have a flooding risk, especially around the Wilmington area. They could see upwards of 4 to 5 inches of rain. That's pretty serious stuff. 7-day forecast, here we go. We're looking ahead toward the next couple of days. It will be cool out there. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday only in the 50s and 60s. But as the rain starts to let up a little bit, we'll see more sunshine, and next week it gets drier and warmer into the 70s and then back into the 80s where we should be for this time of year by the end of next week.
It's the day many of us have been anxiously awaiting. Holly the hippo finally gave birth. After a 2-month pregnancy, she gave birth on Wednesday at the Greensboro Science Center. It's the first pygmy hippo born there. Caretakers say Holly is already hard at work to become the best mother she can be. No word yet on the gender. I'm sure they'll have some sort of naming ceremony.
So cute.
But so cute, especially because, you know, we have been watching Holly
Yes.
carry around this baby for a while now. This is a live picture over here of her habitat.
And the baby is so tiny. So I was reading up this type of hippo when they're born, they're about like 7 to 14 pounds. But then a different type, I think the river type of hippo, they're like 1,000 pounds when they're born.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So,
Big difference. I
yeah,
guess.
huge difference.
I would like to see it next to something I can understand, like maybe next to a human hand, or maybe next to you know, a box of cereal, or anything that you know the size of. So, and I guess we'll get a closer look next week when they let us come and visit. But this is pretty impressive.
I mean, treat it like a hailstone, right? Put it next to a dime or a quarter or something.
Let's get a ruler out there. Yeah. No, it's amazing to see, and the pictures are just so cute.
So cute.
And you know what's funny? So yesterday on the show, we showed the hippo cam, and we said we're still on baby watch, and we could see Holly in her area. Well, she had already given birth, and we didn't even know it.
We just didn't know,
Yeah,
and she's just
born on
walking around.
Wednesday.
Because when I got the alert, I said, well, did this happen overnight? And you were like, no, it happened 2 days ago.
Right.
So.
It's really good that everything went smoothly and safe, because, you know, the animals are there for us to look at, but zoos and science centers, they're really there for conservation. These are rare species, so we're happy to help them grow and be healthy.
Maybe they'll let us help plan the gender reveal party.
Do you think so?
Yeah, maybe. That could be fun.
It'd be like a blue cake or a pink
cake.
We're going to name the hippo 4 to 5.
4 to 5 each.
Congrats, Holly.
Have you ever had a friend come visit or maybe drop by the house and they stayed a little too long? Well, a conversation on Facebook got us thinking about this. How do you politely tell them to leave without coming right out and saying it? I asked you this question on Facebook, and boy, did I enjoy the responses. Got about 200 of them. Mike Williams says, mention it's getting late and suggests you have things to prioritize early tomorrow. Debbie Shields, tell them that you had an appointment that you forgot until now. Ernest Thomas, turn the air conditioner on freeze mode and start vacuuming. Lori Flanagan said, talk politics. That might make some people stay, I think. And then Michael Johnson says, tell them that the cops usually set up checkpoints in my neighborhood around this time. So you might want to get home now before you get stopped. I actually like that one.
Those are a lot of
that
good
was
ideas.
creative.
Good,
Yeah.
good answers.
For me, I think that like I am just kind of forward enough, and friends and family know that. Like when I'm ready, first of all, I won't ever be ready. You can stay for as long as
Yeah.
you want because I just like to have people around. But I'd be like, okay, all right, I'm going to bed.
Get
You can
to
just stop being
stepping.
fun. Yeah, I'm not fun anymore.
I think for me, the go-to is, oh, you know, I got to be up early, so I'm going to let you go. Let's connect later. Or I'll just straight up be like, yeah, I'm getting a little sleepy, you know, so.
This is such an
You're gonna have
etiquette
to,
question.
yeah, I'm getting a little tired.
It's so tricky. When we had my high school graduation party, my dad is he like loves to tell dad jokes. He's such a joker. And he thought he heard a funny joke before we had this party.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when you have a party, you say, okay, it's going to be from like 2 to 10 or something, right?
Never ends at 10.
Once the clock hit 10 o'clock, he started to go around to people and say, oh, do you have the time? And then you would say, oh yeah, it's 10:15. Like, oh, I thought your watch was broken.
Oh, that's funny.
That's good.
And then he would laugh and say, oh, you can stay, you're fine, but you know,
Does he mean
get
it,
out of
though?
here.
Does he mean it that you can stay?
There's always a little truth to a joke, isn't
Yeah,
there?
there is. There's always a, so, oh, are you telling me to leave? Oh, okay.
We'll let you go then.
We gotta let you go. We'll be back in a little bit.
Politely.
Come on back.
Hey Brett, mic check, please. Look at you doing the 4. How about it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, Brad's not here. Shocker. Thanks.
don't know about you guys, but I'm so glad it's Friday.
Isn't that nice?
Yes.
Especially going into a long weekend. Forgive me if you don't have a traditional schedule and you have to work over the weekend or Monday, but for the majority of people who don't, I mean, there's just a different vibe going into a long weekend.
Yes.
Great vibe.
It is. I'm working Monday, but the bosses aren't here on Monday. It's like usually pretty easy.
It kind of feels like
kind of relaxed.
Yeah.
They're not watching, are they?
No.
Oh, okay. We love the bosses.
Right. So how are people on your social media pages with this weather?
I think we're kind of just like at the point where we're laughing about it. Like, oh, this is going to be a really bad weekend. Isn't it crazy how we have the worst weather in the country? But it is going to be nice pretty much everywhere in the United States. Except for the Carolinas and Virginia. So I don't know what we did wrong, everybody. This is just the bed that we're going to have to sleep in. Looking at your weekend, it's going to be a lot worse than it is right now. It's actually still a pretty nice Friday evening. We have some clouds, but some sunshine too. Temperatures currently are in the upper 60s, so it's cool, but fairly comfortable. You can take a look at the coast. This is where they're already starting to see rain, and the wind is whipping around at about 30 miles per hour. That's the case from the Outer Banks down to Wilmington and Myrtle, and also down to Charleston too. You can notice all the rain just kind of building offshore. Something we're going to have here, and we already have some of this, are the gusty winds. You've noticed it throughout the day today. It'll be that way into tomorrow. Winds gusting around 20 to 30 miles per hour. That's going to be consistent through about Sunday. So if you don't like the wind, you don't like the rain, and you don't like the cool weather, this is just really not a good combination for our weekend. It'll be tough to do things outside. The rain will begin tomorrow morning between around 10 a.m. and lunchtime. Once we get into Sunday, notice there are some breaks that start to develop in the rainfall. So the worst of the rain, that should be midday tomorrow into midday on Sunday. And after that, it does get a little bit easier to go outside every now and again and just run errands if you have to do that sort of thing. Still probably not great cookout weather. 1 to 2 inches seems likely to me between now and Monday afternoon. There is also a flood risk across parts of the Carolinas, especially down toward the coastal areas where they could get as much as 5 to 6 inches of rain. The cold weather, this is not something you think about when you think of late May here in the Carolinas. We're stuck with a high of 58 degrees tomorrow. That will set a record most likely for the chilliest May 27th on record in our area. We'll still be cool on Sunday and a little bit warmer, but not much for Monday afternoon for Memorial Day observations as well. Skipping ahead of the 7-day forecast, as luck would have it, we are starting to warm up going into next week. The rain will be done by us around Wednesday. Temperatures in the mid 70s there. We're in the upper 70s to near 80 by Thursday and into the mid 80s by your Friday. So as we go into the weekend, you can track the weather along with us. We have that forecast updated all the time. Possible showers in the area with our most accurate News 2 weather forecast. Just download the app. It's free in the Apple iPhone store or the Google Play store. You can have it on your phone all the time.
Tim, thanks. All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. Triad School Districts want students to stay fed over the summer. Winston-Salem Precise meal program starts on June 20th. Alamance Burlington will have breakfast, lunch, and snacks at various rec centers and apartment complexes. Guilford says it'll release its meal program next week. You can check your district's social media pages for details.
Guilford County Schools also reminding parents of the free lunch process. You might remember during the pandemic, all students were allowed to eat lunch for free, regardless of whether they could afford it. That policy ended at the beginning of this current school year. The form to apply for free or reduced meals is available on the district's website. Requests are viewed on a rolling basis, so you can apply anytime.
Time is running out to sign up your child for a Guilford County summer camp. The district offers lots of programs ranging from science to art education. Transportation is not guaranteed and some programs do cost a fee. Camps run Mondays through Thursdays starting June 20th. There are 2 local job fairs next week. The first is on Wednesday. The NC Works Career Center in Greensboro is hosting a fair from 9 to noon. The beginning of the event will cater to people 55 and up. Then NC Works is taking its mobile center to Evangel Fellowship Church in Greensboro. They'll have resume help and other job resources. It runs from 10 to 2 on Thursday.
A Greensboro organization wants to use the game of basketball to curb violence and unemployment. Punch for Pounds will host a hiring day basketball tournament tomorrow at Hampton Park in Greensboro. Organizer Stephen Matthews says there will be various vendors at the tournament looking to recruit talent for open job positions.
When you start talking about economics, occupation, education. And what that breeds is what levels of decision that gets us closer to criminal activity and violent activity. And so our job as a conduit and being a support to municipal and county is to, again, go into the communities, engage, assess, and then bring resources that's needed.
The tournament is in partnership with groups like Street Ballers, NC Works, Next Gen, and the NAACP. Matthew says the goal is to hold a series of these basketball tournaments at parks and high crime neighborhoods.
What we've learned is that engagement is like a cookout. It's like a church. That's basketball, that's boxing. Whatever brings the community out, that's an important tool, because at that point, we're able to go into our next level of service and programming, which is building relationships and determining where the needs are and figuring out how to close those gaps.
The games are 4-on-4. Arrival time is 1 p.m. this Saturday at Hampton Park. Tip-off starts at 4 p.m. The next tournament will be June 24th at Heath Park in Greensboro. I absolutely love this idea. So Punch Per Pounds has held Hiring Day basketball tournaments in the past, but they had it at a facility. I love that they're going to meet the people where they are. They're going into the community. They're going to the neighborhood parks. And I think using basketball as a tool of engagement is so important, because a lot of young folks, they like to play basketball.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you, Lauren. And I think the most important part about this is that it's a series of events.
Yes.
It's not just a one-time thing where people, you know, if you miss it, you miss out.
Yeah.
There's going to be, I'm not sure how frequently, but there will be, you know, multiple throughout the summer. So if you're not able to get to that first event coming up, what, Saturday?
Saturday.
Yep. So you'll be able to make the next couple and just be able to engage. And even if you make it to the first one, you can continue to go throughout the series, because kids need something to do during the summertime, idle time, the Devil's Playground, correct?
And mentorship is so important growing up,
Yeah.
and you can't have too many of them. I mean, I'm sure that you guys remember growing up. You probably remember the name of your coach from some sport,
Absolutely.
or
Yeah.
like a teacher, or someone from band or theater. I mean, they just play such an important role in your growth and development as a young person into an adult.
And even for young adults, because this event is not just for teens, it's kind of for teens to young adults as well for these jobs. And a lot of times people just don't know what resources are out there, or they just need someone to be like, hey brother, this is opportunity I think you would be talented at. And that's why I think it's great that they're meeting the people where they
Community outreach combined with community action.
are. Absolutely.
Perfect combination. Now we go from the court to the track. Racing fans who left North Wilkesboro last weekend are now in the Queen City. The campgrounds out in North Wilkesboro were jam-packed for the All-Star festivities, and the RVs are reloaded with fans and beverages for the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway this weekend. Last year's winner in the QC was the veteran Denny Hamlin, with Kurt Busch coming in second place. The green flag waves Sunday at 6 p.m. But this isn't the only race happening at the Charlotte Motor Speedway this weekend. Tonight, the Craftsman Truck Series will hit the track, and tomorrow, it's all about the Xfinity Series, and driver Roger Carruth, one of the newest faces in racing, will be competing in both. However, when Carruth isn't on the track, he's in the classroom studying to earn a bachelor's degree in motorsport management from Winston-Salem State University. And tomorrow, down at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Carruth and his number 44 car will honor the Ram fam. This is how Roger Carruth's Chevrolet Camaro usually looks on race day. However, at this year's All-SCO Uniforms 300 down in Charlotte, Carruth and his car will pay homage to one of the Triad's favorite universities.
It's really special to represent my school and my colleagues, my peers, my friends, mentors on the racetrack, and especially in the sport that I love.
For the second straight year at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Carruth's car will feature a special tribute to the HBCU he calls home, Winston-Salem State University.
It's been amazing really growing up here at Winston-Salem State University. I didn't live on campus, but I mean, I had classes up here when COVID's restrictions kind of went away, and the friendships and relationships and things I've learned at the school are things that I'll carry for the rest of my life.
Carruth is still looking for his first professional win on the Xfinity Series, but he's got the entire university supporting him, including Chancellor Elwood Robinson.
I don't know, is there another level above cool? Whatever that is, I mean, that's what this is. To have an opportunity to have a student like Raja, one, a great student, a great individual, a great person, but also opening up new pathways and new avenues for folks to get into sports.
Every time I have on the Winston colors, I think about my mentors, my peers, my colleagues, my friends, and others that I've met during my time here at Winston. So to represent them in the sport that I love and in the industry that I'm working to build a legacy in is really a dream come true.
Tonight, Roger will race in the number 24 truck for the Craftsman's Truck Series, starting at 8:30, and the racing will hit the track Saturday at 1 p.m., weather permitting.
So cool. What a trailblazer,
Yeah.
too. I mean, in a sport where, we were just talking, there are only 2 black drivers
Yes.
in a NASCAR Cup Series. Well, I guess is it NASCAR
It's just,
overall?
Yeah, in the 3 different levels of NASCAR right now.
So, to blaze his own trail, it's got to be rewarding, but also a lot of pressure, I imagine.
Very, very cool. I love that the university is behind him as well. He has that design on his car. And what was the major that he majored in? Motorsport?
It is motorsports management.
That's so neat
Yep.
that is even an option.
It is an out.
Him doing this might inspire other young boys and girls to say, maybe this is something I want to do, because I have not seen a lot of drivers who look like him.
And I honestly think the most impressive part about this is the fact that he's a full-time student.
Yeah.
He's been in college for 3 years. He's going into his senior year like a normal student would be doing. But not only is he like a student athlete to the extreme, but he doesn't even really get that full college experience, but that's what he wants. He wants to be able to go get that
Love it.
education,
Love it.
finish, get his degree, and set himself up for his post-racing career.
What a great role model. He's doing some big things.
And I mean, you're based out of, you're in Winston-Salem, and then so you've got North Wilkesboro Speedway on one side that you were last weekend, and now you got Charlotte on the other side. I mean, it's just cool it's got to be like a good hometown pride too.
Perfect place for him to be.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back.
Hello, friends. Ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination. Dandelions, they're weeds. They're the bane of a good lawn's existence, which is why you pick them, right? Or at least why I pick them. But this guy, he picks them for a reason I've never really thought of.
All right, those yellow moist petals are what we're going to take. We're going to put them right there in the hot water and cook them down until we get sort of a dandelion tea.
Dandelion tea? Yeah, I heard of that. But the tea is actually made into wine.
kind of learned some recipes from others, created some recipes of my own, and realized that you can make wine out of almost anything that contains sugar.
Okay, the dandelion wine is one of the many things offered at the Urban Forge Winery and Cider House. So that dandelion fluff, it's then added to things like apples and cherries and pears. And this was also interesting, that family, they forage from other people's yards and fields and whatever, hence the name of the winery, Urban Forage.
I can't imagine that other people are against it though, right? If
No.
I will come over and I will freely pick the dandelions out of your yard.
Yeah, that, but also he says that there's a lot of people there that just have lots of fruit trees and they can't possibly pick all of the fruit off the trees and they don't want it to go to waste, so they don't mind that he picks it for them.
That's pretty awesome.
Clever.
You know, some free resources. I've actually never had dandelion wine, but I read a book in high school titled Dandelion Wine.
Oh, really?
But I've never
Okay.
seen it in the store or anything like that.
Yeah, I've never seen it in a store. You can make this at home. I looked up the recipe. I mean, the cook time is only like 15 minutes, but then you got to wait like 1 to 2 years while it ferments.
I was about to be like, hey, maybe this could be something to do this weekend.
Yeah, no, you could do it this weekend.
And then in 2
wait.
years, I can enjoy it.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'm guessing that means they're just edible. Like if you were like
Yes.
picking a dandelion, you just eat it.
Yes.
You're not going to get sick or anything.
No.
You might
But
sneeze.
you might sneeze or cough because that's
Wow.
what I thought. When I first saw that, I just thought, my allergies are so bad. Why would I drink this wine?
Yeah.
Right?
Interesting. We might have to try this.
So I was trying to think of other things made out of wine. Rice wine is common. You see it for cooking and sauces and all that other kind of jazz. So cheers to the weekend, friends. Hope it's a good one.
Cheers, yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. Weather is a pretty big story as we go into our weekend. We've mentioned rain plenty, and that's kind of something we're all expecting at this point. But on top of that, there's also going to be some very chilly temperatures in the 50s and 60s, and also some gusty winds. We've already started to feel the wind whipping up in our area, and that will continue through the weekend as well. The main points are these: cloudy, chilly, windy for the whole weekend. The worst of the rain, and when I say worst of it, that means the heaviest and the most persistent. That would be from midday tomorrow, around lunchtime Saturday. That's when it begins, through about lunchtime on Sunday. Once you get to Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, it gets a little bit more scattered, so it's not going to be as long, and there will be breaks in the action, especially for Monday. Monday would be your best bet to have a couple breaks of sunshine, perhaps even. Rain totals 1 to 2 inches, wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. That's something we've already been seeing. System is just getting started right now over the coastal communities, which means our weather is still fine, and it will stay that way through the rest of this evening. I'll tell you what, if you didn't get that lawn mowed today and, well, you're being asked to do it tomorrow, you might be able to sneak it in early enough. 9 a.m. to around noon, there's still a window of opportunity where you could do something outside. After that, the rain does roar in here. We're stuck in the 50s most of the day on Saturday, barely touching 60 for Sunday. And that cool low pressure area, it just gets stuck here, so it's swirling around for a couple of days. Let me show you a bit of a closer look. This is 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Notice how that's when the rain is just beginning. It does get heavier Saturday night into Sunday morning, with those gaps developing, as we said, by Sunday afternoon. Looking at the whole weekend all at once, we're heading into Sunday. That'll be a chilly day of weather with a good chance of rain as well. Monday, just scattered showers. It's not a soaker by any means there, which is good news for some of the observances going on across the region. Heading into the 7-day forecast, weather will be improving a bit. 70s and 80s start to return by the middle and end of next week.
A Memorial Day tribute is honoring more than 645,000 Americans who have died protecting our freedoms.
The Poppy Wall, in honor of Washington, D.C., remembers the brave stories of servicemen and women. This weekend, will pay respect to the fallen while also commemorating the important milestone in history.
They can't be here, so I want to do everything I can do to try to be here for them.
This wall shows the size of sacrifice, more than 645,000 poppies, symbolizing the U.S. lives lost in service since World War I.
It's a very somber moment for me. You know, I've placed about 57 coins on caskets that are draped with the American flag. It's very special for me.
Air Force veteran Joe Sluder, now a military affairs representative for the USAA Poppy Wall of Honor, says this year's exhibit also marks 50 years since the U.S. exit from Vietnam, where his father served 2 tours.
I would have loved to be able to walk him through, you know, hand in hand, and take him through each of the sections.
Those who can't visit the wall in person can still post a tribute honoring a loved one online using the hashtag #PoppyInMemory, and it will be shared here.
Seeing this wall, you see the numbers put with the different wards and things like that, and it's hard to comprehend.
Visitors say they're struck by how many Americans have died serving.
It's really impressive to see all the history that's out here and think of all the things that they've been done for us.
We have so many that have paid the ultimate sacrifice so that we can be free and practice and live in a free world, democratic world. Just don't forget.
Command Chief Master Sergeant Sluder says it's something to remember not just on Memorial Day, but every day. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Here in the Triad, families are encouraged to gather at the Triad Park in Kernersville on Monday. The Carolina Field of Honor serves as a permanent reminder of the sacrifice of our service members. The memorial includes a more than 50-foot granite obelisk, several monuments replacing the 5 branches of the military in the historical flag walk. The service begins at 11 a.m. The word though, because I'd seen it before.
Hello, I hear my mic, so I'm going to talk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3. I can, yes. Good.
Northtown. Concrete and $20,000. Hi there. It's just 1, 2, 3. Some tried high school seniors may not.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, mic check.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination. Hey, thank you.
I was waiting on you. What took you so long? However, this weekend, the Ram fam in Caruth
Hey there, it's time for my 2 cents. Now, recently I talked to you about the recent 15th placing of Michael Block, a club pro out of Mission Viejo, California, who placed 15th in the PGA Championship. All the world is abuzz about this, all the sports world, the golf world, even people that don't follow golf now are starting to follow because of this fairy tale of Michael Block. Well, I found something else today. Take a look at this image. Apparently, on most of his golf balls, he writes this 2-word phrase, why not, with a question mark. He said it went back to when he was playing really well in one of the smaller tournaments, and that if he placed in a certain placement in this particular tournament, he could actually qualify to play in an actual PGA event. This is long before what he did last weekend. And he said he decided to write on his golf ball, why not? Why not hit the par on this hole? Why not get a birdie? Why not go and play in a PGA event? Really, it's something that just takes the pressure off of you. Think about the power of those 2 words. You're up for a job. Why not? Why not me? Why not? So for me, I decided that I'm going to talk to my kids about this. Write this down inside your notebook. Put it in a notes file on your phone. Keep a little piece of paper with that in your wallet all the time that says, why not? Because why not you? You probably deserve it if you worked hard enough. And so for me, those are 2 words we can take from Michael Block's experience and apply to our everyday lives and our kids' lives as well. It's good for confidence. That's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Concrete and toilets, thousands of dollars in damage. Some Triad High School seniors may not walk at graduation for taking a senior prank too far.
While the fun at North Wilkesboro Speedway is over, racing sticks around in North Carolina for another weekend. How fans will brave the soggy weather at Charlotte Motor Speedway.